Alrighty, bit shooting YouTubers, it's November 20th, 2023. This picture was taken December of 21. Those are all family members of mine. That's my mom right there. Even though she's wearing a Trump shirt, she's not a Trump fan. She just wore one because they wanted her to for the picture. Okay, there's one of my sisters. There's one of my sisters. That's one of the husbands. That's one of the husbands. And the rest are other kids, my nieces, nephews, whatever. And I do not know who that older lady is. But as you can see, they're well armed. But as my mom's been telling me over the years, when she's asked them about it, if the government would let it come and to take their guns, would they give them up? And they said yes. Lame. But here you go. That was taken up at a family thing in 21 for Christmas in Montrose, Colorado. This is a picture I took. This is a block away. This little wooden bridge going over a creek. I didn't see the troll that owns the cart, but it almost looks, the top one's too small, but it looks like they could have a smaller shopping cart inside the bigger one. And like I said, I didn't know where the troll was. Another picture of a guy with no front tire on his bicycle, and he's got the top gear on, like motocross racing or kids' toy stuff or some shit. I don't know. He was kind of mumbling to himself. I had to be real sneaky with the picture. Oh, here's another picture I happened to get. Maybe he's getting ready for the X Games or some shit. Well, like I said in my last video, I'd got one of these August and Farms beef flavored vegetarian meat substitute. I'd watched a couple of videos on it. Matter of fact, there's what it looks like in the can. And it actually stays chunky, chewy. Hey, there it is there. But, just put your boiling hot water in it, let it sit for 5 minutes, and it tastes really... One of the videos I'd seen said I accidentally did a video here instead of a picture, but anyway, you just let it soak for up to 5 minutes, and somebody had said it tastes like taco meat, and that's kind of what it tastes like. I'm trying to find something I could eat, in here as filler and stuff, and if I end up hitting the road again after I get out of here the end of March. Oh, this is another one I got. I still got some of this egg, the scrambled egg mix. This is the recent purchase price on the Walmart site anyway. It is really, really good stuff. It tastes like scrambled eggs. It's well worth it. But, it's just something you got to cook. You can't just throw in hot water, obviously. And if you haven't caught it, they're starting to fear porn the Japanese invade Taiwan thing up again. And like I said, so what if they did take Taiwan? The U.S. isn't going to do nothing. There's going to be a bunch of whining and protesting and talking about military aid, even though you probably couldn't aid them if China went on in there. But what would happen if they took China? Nothing. There might be a pause in products coming in out of Taiwan, but eventually the products that come from Taiwan that you buy at the Family Dollar or Walmart or whatnot, on the bottom, the stamp would eventually change to made in China. Other than that, nothing would happen. And of course, keeping up the fear porn, the ISIS calls for suicide attacks in the U.S. Hamas wants to attack in the U.S. This is a few days old, but supposedly we are up to 56 attacks on troops since October 17th. Of course, we never heard about these up until this shit started with Israel. And I don't wait till I get to it here, but I took this through the front door of the motel here. There's a dude underneath. There's a woman standing there. There's a dude up underneath that green blanket or whatever it is, smoking his meth pipe. And of course, this came out in the news, and even they said it was propaganda without admitting it was propaganda. Suppose all these Jews were stranded, bus drivers wouldn't take them from the airport to a rally. Now, nobody can identify the bus driving company or the bus driver, so it's more fear. No, they got this Jew anti-Semitism shit going full bore right now. Then this year, Denver, I just took this screenshot a few days ago. That's how much a large chunk of the country is up to 25 degrees warmer than normal all frickin' month, like here in Denver, even though it's just now turning cooler. But it's just been incredibly warm. Denver has been averaging around 65 when it should be 53-ish or 50. Oh, before I forget, Thursday I had my video phone interview with my neurologist. I did not go do an in-person interview on purpose because it'd just be a waste of time and get a ride with the Eco Lane, and even though it's a free Medicaid ride, it shit sucks ass. In doctor's terms, it's the same thing as they told me in the emergency room after I got my MRI. I got bone spurs on the right side, which is causing the numbness to the right side of my face and my right arm, but I'm going to live. And I'm just, oh, and like I said in that last video, and somebody brought it up in the comments, when I was calling, the bullshit on, you're going to go and disappear in a hospital if you check organ donor, or some doctor's going to kill you because some rich guy wants an organ. That kind of shit is so fucking minute. But what I have said several times over the years is a problem with our alt media awakened crowd is they are more than willing, because we've seen it on the videos and websites and on TV and these nut jobs, and so many of them immediately and are so willing and happy and do believe every negative thing they hear just right off the deep end. Oh yeah, that's true. Because some time ago people started putting out videos that nothing is a coincidence, so that goes right into people's brains of the lame sheep crowd that we have on our side of where the truth is. But let's move on. Okay, what's in my Folgers coffee? I drink a lot of instant coffee. Fake meat is failing because it's gross and unhealthy. Remember the videos that these people were putting out the Impossible Burger? I'm talking about the vegetarian one here, not the insect thing, but that's failing. I do not watch, and I watch less channels than I used to. I probably watched 1/10, 1/100th of the channels, when I was watching YouTube, but I don't know why other people, that were supposed to be awake and have a brain like us, didn't call bullshit on this. This stuff's not going to take off. Let me pause here for a sec. I think this was a different article, but 2022, the stock price plummeted by 94%. That's fucking huge. My mom sent me this video from this who are Lonesome Lands. Is supposed to be a farmer, a rancher, or some shit. Beef industry invests in insects. He's talking about Tyson investing in insects for food for cattle, mixed with the rest of the shit. And he showed his company in the EU has got approval for insects in human consumption. Like I've been saying since they started talking about this shit, they are not, like Richie from Boston, all them fucking idiots do that dumb shit. And there's a bunch of channels that showed that video of the kids in that grade school, eating, they were passing out, I think they were like granola bars or something that were supposed to be mostly insects. And they all jumped on the bandwagon like alt media is supposed to do, say, oh, this is what's going to happen. And I'm going to say it again. We are not going to be fed strictly all this shit's not going to turn into the plant-based foods, like this Augustin Farms here. As long as there's not fucked up chemicals in it, what's wrong with it? It's just vegetarian shit. That's all it is. So fucking, get over it. But that's too simple. It makes too much sense for these people to want to talk about. But, where was I? Oh, but I think at the same time, matter of fact, I know, because I've said it before, and not just because I said it, but because you can just see that the way it's going, with the way the planet's dying, especially from the geoengineering, where they got to start bringing in the supplements, they got to start planting the seed in our heads, even if this shit doesn't go more and more into actually production for 2 years or 5 years or 8 or 10. They're prepping everybody right now because it's just a fact of life. So much of the oceans are deader than the fucking soil on this planet. I think that might be a lot of reason for the shit, closing down farms and shit, is they know they can't, most of them they can't grow shit anyway, because if the soil's not dead, the fertilizer's not too expensive, they don't get the fucking rain anyway, or you get flooded and droughted out. And like I've said repeatedly, these much shorter and smaller in size snowstorms around the planet and freezes are much less devastating than the heat waves and the droughts and the floods, because the heat waves, the droughts, and the floods occur during the summer when you need to have the crops growing, and therefore it kills the crops that just won't grow because of the heat. Blah, blah, blah. Let's move on. Okay, they finally got done with this here in Denver a couple days ago. Colorado was trying to keep Trump off the ballot because of the insurrection thing. They turned it down. Trump can stay on the ballot, but look at the middle one. Judge rules with Trump incited the January 6th riots, but can remain on the Colorado primary. So they just convicted him in that. So he's been convicted by that judge of inciting the January 6th riots. How come all these channels aren't over loving that shit? Whether it's the Trump lovers or the Trump haters. The judge right there, he declared Trump incited the January 6th riot, so they're lock him up. Fuck. And keep it prolonged. This is from the people that went after him. The court's decision affirms our client's alleged lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. Trump engaged in insurrection based on his rule January 6th. We're going to file another appeal, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here's another fear porn moment. They remember they were running away with this. We're on the alt media channels. We're all magnetic field's going to reverse, north, south pole. We're all dead. We're all doomed. Fuck retards. Then they're really doing this big time with the high schools and especially the colleges. Students set new criteria when choosing schools. Harvard Jews for Palestine. Protesters will alter priorities in college decisions. They're just having a field day with this. I mean, get the it was for the fact the last couple of big distractions were Roe Wade, and like I said when that came out, where were all the Christians and just other people in general that were talking about that Roe Wade was part of population control, and then they got rid of it because it created diversion. Then we got Ukraine, then they snuck in North Korea every now. Oh, matter of fact, and then North Korea shit's going again, and now the Israel, Gaza, Palestine, Hamas, whatever thing. Oh, in case I don't say it here in a minute, the big question, like I brought up before, is what people need to be asking is why did, is it Hamas they're saying attacked Israel? Why did they do that in the first place? Go in, do that stupid little incursion, supposedly kidnap around 250 people. I'm sure some were kidnapped without the fake news, and especially in another country, you don't know what's real. Those family members that are claiming people got kidnapped it might not even be real. But nevertheless, a big question is why did they attack Israel in the first place, knowing that Israel was going to strike back en masse because this was part of the agenda? Oh, here's how our weather is fixing to change here in Denver, especially overnighters. Look at that, starting Thursday, 20, 13, 16. So... matter of fact, I got an email that was sent to all of us RAs at the motels. They could start swap Tuesday, even though it doesn't fit the criteria, or at the latest Wednesday, because of the fact Thursday is a holiday, so there might be 5 or 6 days of swap. And on the tunnels, I don't remember if I took a screenshot of them talking about the tunnels. They're supposed to be going through all these tunnels that are supposedly on the Gaza side or whatever, and underneath the hospital, and they find those weapons. Who the fuck does that shit belong to anyway? And if it does belong to the Gaza side of this whole thing, so what? That's their fucking country. But you know how this shit goes, and those tunnels, who knows if those tunnels are really on the Gaza side, but let's say they are. You don't think Israel has a whole bunch of their own? I mean, give me a fucking break. Here's a biggie that a lot of people underestimate. Baltic Sea, the largest expanse of brackish water in the world nowadays. I don't remember how long that got that bad. Is on the verge of collapse. It's already collapsed. As per report, primarily affected human-induced eutrophication, the over-enrichment of water. Of course, let's not talk about the geoengineering, except for they do that when they mention climate change, pollutants, oxygen depletion, habitat destruction, blah, blah, blah. Enhanced by climate change, in other words, geoengineering. Here they go again, like I brought up before. Specific species such as water birds are facing drastic hardships. A local porpoise population is also in jeopardy. They're dying. But what people just don't relate it together. If the birds and the porpoises, if they're starving to death, and obviously all the shit in the ocean is dead, dying, and disappearing. It's like fucking duh. I must have missed the headline to this if this is the right one. Oh, let me blow this up. Because they were talking again about, these diseases that could be coming out from underneath the permafrost. And that's another subject where the alt media Awaken crowd immediately jumps off into, well, Dane Wigington does it all the time too. They're just saying that because they're going to create a disease from one of their bio labs or let one loose or whatever the fuck. But people do not realize how easily this can happen, because look at the planet right now. If we go to certain countries, if we go to Asia, Amazon, and all these other places, you have to get shots. You have to get inoculations, vaccinations, whatever you want to call them. Or I was going to make a little list. You could get diphtheria, typhoid. There's a whole bunch of shit that you can get. And the odds are you will get if you try to go to another country without getting some sort of jab. But that's just fucking amazing. But people got to understand, because what they're talking about and what's happening here in the U.S. already admitted it's been warming up so much that you have these tick diseases, and because the ticks and the mosquitoes and such are able to survive the winters further north now because of the way the planet's warming up. The Amazon's still drying up. The rainforest holds a fifth, I didn't know it was that much, the world's fresh water. Deforestation, dwindling rain, unrelenting heat are sucking it dry, of course, geoengineering. And there's so many people out there that depend on them rivers, and they can't do it no more, for their food supply and shit to go, up and down the river. It's not summer yet, but Brazil's already in a dangerous heat wave is sweeping the country. I just took this a couple days ago. I try to put the dates on these, even if I got to take 2 pictures. And here's what's been going on already. Look, I mean, in the coming years, I mean, it's happening now. Precipitation from extreme events is projected to increase. You know, there should be more water in the atmosphere when it's hotter, blah, blah, blah. But they also know while extreme events, which it's just happening now in the coming years, while the extreme events with greater precipitation may become more. We're having that right now with all these fucking major floods. Overall precipitation totals could still decrease, which is true. That's what's happening right now. You'll get these floods and then these major droughts in between. That means you may experience more events that cause flooding. Yeah, they admit it right down there, but it's coming. It's not here yet. It's going to get so much worse, people. The way I'm going to put it right now, because like I said, I'd let you know if we need to bug out. You want to know if things are going to get hard when we have these shortages, especially food, but you'll know, like even the shit that they created during COVID, you will know because you'll see the shortages in U.S.-friendly countries like European Union, Brazil, just places like that. When they are having serious food issues, then you know it's coming because, the U.S. is going to be strong-arming everybody, and they're the top of the food chain for the New World Order, both figuratively and literally. See, this is very true here. The drier conditions are accelerating the destruction of the world's largest and most biodiverse rainforest, starting to transform from humid ecosystems that store huge amounts of heat-trapping gas into drier ones that release the shit, like all that shit that got released through the Canadian fires that's still going on. And this is just going to keep, on getting, it's catastrophic right now across this whole fucking planet. We're just not having to suffer through the worst of it right now because they'll keep feeding us as long as they can. Here's what I was talking about a second ago, especially on the bottom. Worryingly, disease-carrying animals and insects are now moving into close parts of the world that they couldn't eat and live before because it's heating up in those places now. Here's one where they're talking about, the planet will likely heat up on average of 4 to 7 degrees, blah, blah, blah. But down here, the average U.S. temperature is likely to rise between 4.4 to 5.6. That's going on already right now. We've seen that especially the last 2 summers. Here they mentioned this again. This started hitting the news, 2 summers ago, whatever. Colorado is going to be losing snow. They've already been talking about how it's, sublimating, going straight to gas, thus no evaporation. And of course, here this says, a phenomenon is responsible for anywhere between 10 and 90% of the snow loss. Yeah, but how about closer to the 90%? I mean, that's just obvious to say because of the lack of water that hits the rivers and goes down south. I mean, it's not that fucking hard to figure out. Since their lightning hit us so hard, the United States is warming 60% more quickly than the global average. Well, look at that 101 degree temperature off of Florida, and a lot of the parts of the ocean down there were in the high 90s and mid 90s, and it's not just off Florida. Oh, here's that one. I didn't realize I had this. They're talking about the factor X. Something could be released from the ice, which, of course, I wouldn't doubt shit's in there. Like I said, look at people. You go across the country, you got to get your inoculations, or you might get something and then fucking die. Oh, I was watching a Twilight Zone episode, and they had dude in there from the Andy Griffith Show. Oh, this is supposed to be in Gaza somewhere, and I got recording as fast as I can, but the guy with the camera is walking up on this dude and a body laying over here. He came up walking up the sidewalk from the right and started filming like 200 foot away. I didn't think about using my speaker, but it's in caps anyway because he's speaking Arabic or whatever. But look how phony this shit is. He's not breathing. And then he walks, and then somebody else films that. But and what bullshit, dudes. There's a couple more got shot there supposedly, but that I'm telling you, that was a staged event. That dude comes walking up from a couple hundred feet away, filming, not offering to help. Dude's sitting there crying, "Oh my God, this, that, and what the other thing." His son's laying there shot. He's not even trying to help him. Then he's got a baby laying there. Then he's going to pick the body up and just try to carry. I mean, just bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And here they go on talking shit about banning TikTok again. The only reason they wanted to ban TikTok before, and I think they were blaming China or some shit for spying through it, and I think they banned TikTok from government employees' phones, if I'm remembering that shit right. The other reason they're after TikTok is because it is foreign owned and it's competition to the, TikTok's competition to media platforms here. And they were talking about that because supposedly this open letter from Bin Laden post 9/11 came out by somebody put it out in Canada or something, and they shut it down. I would like to have read it, but they're all pissed off because they're showing some women here that are saying, "Oh, now that I read the letter, Bin Laden was right." So more propaganda there. Well, he probably was right, but I mean, he didn't have anything to do with this anyway. But oh, that was a headline for it: trending terror, TikTok terror trend. Mainstream media terror trend. Oh man, you know what's making money is all these synagogues and these these people that got channels on alt media anywhere, and they, I bet they're breaking it in, send money so I can send it to Israel. Oh, I took a picture of that. I did that. I still got my Coleman stove. I'm keeping that, even if I take off on my bike when I have to leave here come April 1st or whatever. I don't even remember buying that damn thing, but that'd come in handy on the road too, since I don't have my what were the water filters called that was swiped from off my bike? Fuck, I can't remember. Oh, life straws. But that would still help. Plus, I can boil that water, but depending on where I'm at, and or add bleach. And some more of my goodies. I think I showed part of it before. There's my air pump, my cooking kit. There's the bicycle lights I bought when I thought I was going to take off to Arizona. My Husky strap bag that's full of tools if I have to work on my bike. A slime tire patch kit. A little fold up, shovel to dig a shit trash hole. I still got those candles. I couldn't find. I didn't look for it, so I'll actually have to someday. My tire patch kit should have been with that stuff. And I guess I'll make this last. I thought I'd take another screenshot, but I actually want to go. If I go to Montrose, if nothing else comes up, I actually want to go up off Highway 287, which comes off of 470 in Kipling. But if I did that, I'd have to get a pickup truck ride because I'm way up here, and it's way the fuck. Matter of fact, right about where the road's 470 bends there. Because there's going up that way, there's a whole bunch of free campsites. The thing I used for my 2 years where I did those 3 and 4 month camping trips, there's a site called freecampsites.net, and it was very, very accurate on the reviews, ratings, and whatever pictures I got, because you can search for just free campsites in different states, and it was really well worth having that site. But anyway, that's it, and I think, so see you later, bye, unless I had something. Had this screenshot. This was from 4 or 5 days ago. Anti-Semitism in America airs tomorrow. Oh, again, to be more specific on why I'm not getting my surgery is because I do have to worry about things like sepsis. They want to replace 3 discs. I think he dropped it down to fusing 3 of my vertebrae instead of 4. But, as you got complications from the surgery, they actually put you on an antibiotic regime. Even after, I'd have to wear my neck brace, make sure I have it on for a month or longer, as the shit tries to heal up. So besides whatever could go wrong in the hospital or infection after you get out, there's lots of cases, I don't know how many thousands, where, the screws come loose. So they have to get in there and glue them in, or I don't know, whatever the fuck they do. And also, let's say they fuse 3 or 4, even let's just say 3, then those 3 become 1 vertebrae. So thus, it puts stress when you're bending forward or whatever, especially forward. It puts more stress on the vertebrae above and below the fuse spot, which creates problems there. So I'm just gonna let it ride for now and just deal with it. I mean, I'm still breathing, and I think that's it. Let me pause here again.